Welcome to a new Daily Top Askreddit video. Today's topic.
Redditors, how do you feel a grassroots political movement dedicated solely towards ruining Elon Musk's life specifically would fare? On Reddit, probably pretty successful. In reality, completely pointless and ineffectual. If he loses 99% of his wealth, he would still be a billionaire. If he loses that much wealth, it's due to his stocks crashing, which will trigger margin calls. I have no idea if he's sorted for that given how over-leveraged on Tesla al he is. Or just take that time and effort and join an activist organization not dedicated solely to one person. Because it's easier to get people to hate someone than it is to get them to love something. Sometimes targets pick themselves. Sorry, but I hate Nazis. People who hate Elon Musk, how would you like to ruin Elon Musk's life? Why not ask a real question instead of these circle jerks? The karma farming around Elon topics is out of hand. Jarvis, I'm low on karma. This is one of the most Reddit things I have ever read. It's funny how a decade ago the most Reddit thing would be to sing Elon's praises. On Reddit it would be exceedingly well received. Out in the world it would be 33% well received, 33% OMG TDS, and 33% I don't follow politics. Given the protests at Tesla dealers, it's already past Reddit. The problem is that Tesla is not that big a deal to Musk. He doesn't own that much of it and he could easily decouple. It's the graft to get SpaceX big government contracts that is his real Achilles heel. He's a Nazi, so I'm all in on that. 10 years ago, I actually thought he was in it to improve humanity. He went straight from Tony Stark to a Bond villain. Tesla matters to Elon because he purchased Twitter by borrowing money, using Tesla stock as collateral. If Tesla stocks keep crashing, those he borrowed money from could repossess Twitter. That's why he had Trump do his little dog and pony show about Tesla recently. Ian Fleming's novel Moonraker was published almost 70 years ago, April 1955. It is about a super-rich industrialist that makes rockets and seeks to cause chaos because he is secretly a Nazi. Such a silly idea. Any movement needs to make it clear that no matter where you are on the political spectrum you are upset at billionaires, even if you don't realize it yet. You're paying thousands of dollars for doctor's visits while the rest of the world pays barely $40 because it makes wealthy people more wealthy. You can't buy a house because the wealthy are buying them up to charge you rent. You're underpaid and overworked because your company considers your pay just part of the equation to maximize their profits. Immigrants are taking your jobs because the wealthy know they can pay them less. And if they can pay them less, you will also accept lower pay. You're afraid of poor minorities because the billionaires running your news station are using them to offload their blame. You don't care about politics because corporations have more power to influence votes than you do, making your vote feel worthless. You don't trust Congress because corporations bought them with lobbyists and the promise of post-politics careers. Your taxes are going up while benefits from it go down, because the wealthy have still convinced half the population that trickle-down economics works, despite hundreds of studies proving it shifted most of America's wealth upward, away from you. The environment is becoming more polluted because massive corporations always prioritize cutting costs. You think you're upset at gay and trans people for destroying family values, while you're actually upset at corporations for paying so little that families can't afford to take care of children without both parents working. You think you're upset at homeless people, but we have the funds to house every person in America. We don't because the threat of homelessness makes you desperate enough to accept the dirt cheap wages they give you. Inflation goes up more than it ought to because increasing prices directly benefit corporations. They drool over the prospect of using inflation to increase prices more than inflation would by itself, and they keep increasing prices when inflation drops. Things like this make me understand why being called a Redditor is considered an insult outside of Reddit. It's a bigger insult inside Reddit. This site is absolutely, completely delusional about literally everything. Reddit echo chamber moment. I live in MO and work in KS, and all the Tesla dealerships out here have a standing protest at 2 p.m. on weekdays as part of a nationwide Tesla takedown effort. If it's happening here in MAGA country, it's probably happening everywhere. Man, I keep hearing people say shit like this, but I live in a pretty deeply red area, and people I know in real life are talking about this kind of thing as well. Sure, this specific post is just an attempt to farm karma, and Reddit skews left, but just pretending that discontent with Trump and Musk's actions is somehow a sentiment exclusive to Reddit is an insanely naive take at best, and an attempt to downplay or control the narrative at worst. People are pissed. That's an objective fact and has nothing to do with any one place being an echo chamber. Yeah, if you see the people filling the town halls to scream at their elected officials. Those don't look like your typical Redditor or chronic online user. Probably get called terrorism and cracked down upon hard. Conservatives would cheer as this happens, and then they'd threaten any judge that tries to do anything about it, or outright defy any judge that tries to do anything about it. Sounds like a great reason to do it. Fascists instilling fear to stop action means you should definitely organize and do that action. It's not worth doing something unless someone, somewhere, would much rather you weren't doing it. Because it literally is terrorism. They'd unabashedly do the exact same thing to any judge that tries to stop it and see no irony in it. Elon Musk is a symptom. Donald Trump is a symptom. You'll treat the symptoms and not the causes. These people want to blame everything else for the problems we have today. They'll blame foreigners, blame immigrants, blame waste, fraud, corruption and everything else they can find other than themselves. Are these real issues? Sure, maybe, but they're not the cause of wealth inequality and our current insanity. These are all excuses, misdirection, and distraction. We need to tax the rich. Billionaires are taking everything and leaving you with nothing. And they'll do everything in their power to create a circus atmosphere that keeps you distracted and heading toward poverty. That's the problem. Tax wealth, not work. I disagree. I agree with the overall sentiment, but these people have actively made the situation far worse. Yes, they are doing that, and that's on purpose, and it will continue. They can do it, and they must do it because of the leverage and power that money provides. That's what they don't want you looking at. Look at the Nazi salute. Look at immigrants being led away in chains. Look at my invasion plans against Canada. These are all part of the circus that is meant to entertain and enrage you, and it only gets worse. What's it all protecting? What's in the eye of the hurricane? The money. Finally, a political movement that unites people across all party lines. The enemy of my enemy is my government-funded space program. It's Reddit, so I'm sure most here would obviously support. In general, I think most people would prefer a grassroots movement that aims to improve people's lives rather than obsess over one person. I think it's dumb. A lot of what Reddit thinks these days is dumb. Amen. This place is tuning into a joke. Turning. Reddit would find docs and harass the wrong guy, LMAO. Askreddit don't ask stupid leading questions with blatant left-wing biases for one-day challenge, Extreme Edition. Dude, ever since Trump was elected, every day there's 7 to 10 questions on the top of this sub with 6K plus bot upvotes that are all like, Americans, how do you feel about Trump? I'm so sick of it. Why would people want to actively destroy an African American immigrant's life? Can we just go back to being for issues instead against things? This hate and divisiveness is out of hand. People need to understand we have a lot more in common than what separates us. United we can do a whole lot more and stop the oligarchy. We just have to show how it will actually improve their lives. Removed, deleted. This is beyond pathetic. Based on current events, in the grand scheme of things, not very well as it stands. The people most adamantly against Musk seem to be more fixated on harassing individuals who own Teslas and getting themselves charges rather than actually taking political action such as challenging his actions in court. It's writing to the SEC about the fraud he's been committing for years regarding stock evaluation. I think vandalizing cars that people depend upon for their livelihood just because a shareholder of the company has expressed political views different from your own is trash. It's not trash, it's political violence and intimidation, which is especially dumb because the people buying Teslas are disproportionately liberal. They would likely quietly stop buying them anyway. Eventually, the board will probably buy Musk out and publicly distance themselves from him. He's still going to be uber rich. Crashing normal people's cars solely cause you don't like Elon is a really fantastic way to get absolutely no one to agree with you. Let's not forget who the target demographic for Tesla cars was back when most people ordered theirs. At least before Cybertruck, Tesla cars were marketed as 50% the most high-tech car you can get, and 50% buy this car if you want to do something about your CO footprint. Right-leaning people tend to hate the latter half a lot. This just seems vindictive and spiteful, to be honest. Libs in a nutshell. This post isn't going to last long. Before it vanishes. It would probably work out as well as the election did for you guys. Removed. Reddit needs to be sorted out ASAP. Absolute lunatics up all night crying about Trump and Musk. We need to focus on movements to better the lives of our citizens, not to destroy the lives of others. If bettering our lives means the abolition of billionaires, then so be it. You're just an ass. I'd rather spend my effort taxing all billionaires and providing healthcare to everyone instead of purposely trying to ruin one man's life, even if he is an asshole. Diversion politics is a thing. No wonder the Democrats keep losing. Is destroying property, grassroots? Either way, it's pointless and moronic. It will do nothing but turn people against you and make more and more people hate you for being moronic losers throwing temper tantrums. But go ahead and keep doubling down on bullshit that doesn't work, I guess. I thought that's what Reddit's main mission was already. It isn't told out loud enough, that's it. If someone on the right posted this about someone on the left, you people would have a field day. He'd be a terrorist and an extremist. Stupid. I have better things to do in my life. Removed. Sorry, but the idea that a bunch of Redditors are going to ruin Elon Musk's life is utterly pathetic and laughably delusional. What are we going to do? Say mean things about him? Like half the planet does that already. There is nothing Reddit can do to him that he hasn't already done to himself. Need I remind you that Reddit Inc. is a publicly traded company? If Musk really wanted to, he could buy Reddit and there's nothing anyone could do to stop it. Reddit is valued at $23 billion. That's actually pocket change to Elmo. So no, you cannot ruin Elon Musk's life, but he absolutely could ruin ours by buying Reddit, banning every single supermod and putting his flunkies in charge. He won't because he doesn't give a flying fuck what we think.